This is Dave Palumbo with RxMuscle.com in the Iron Asylum with Shelby Starnes. And we are here at Royal Oak Gym, and we're going to be doing a little leg training. And Shelby, welcome back to Iron Asylum.
Thanks, Dave. It's been a while. What, a couple of years now?
Yeah. We used to do these all the time with you. I think we used to do like 2 a year with you, maybe more. We did like every body part. And,
I don't know if we've been at this gym yet. I think we were at Highland Park Powerhouse.
Yeah. That's usually where we are. We're usually at the hardcore mecca out there in Michigan, and this is kind of a little more low key for you. But do you train people at this gym?
I don't train anybody in person. But this is actually Royal Oak Gym is kind of becoming the new hardcore mecca. I mean, nothing will ever replace Powerhouse Highland Park, but Royal Oak Gym has a lot of competitors now, and it's also really big with powerlifting and strongmen.
I didn't know that.
Competitors, stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, the state of Michigan has a lot of hardcore bodybuilders still in it, which is great. So you just still see a lot of good bodybuilders coming out of Michigan. A lot of other states, like you go to California, everyone's like men's physique, classic physique. There's no bodybuilders anymore. But the cold states still seem to be
Midwest, yeah.
Seeing the bodybuilders. Let's talk about you a little bit, because I've had you on the radio show last year after your top 5 pro placing. And, you told me something you changed kind of the way you do things. Kind of like, you kind of coast off-season wise. You probably, you're trying to really preserve your body at this point as you're getting older. And then kind of you gear up for one contest a year, 1 or 2 contests a year, and you kind of just give it your all. And we're kind of in that contest mode right now. Talk to me about what you're weighing and how your body composition changed from last year to this.
Yeah, post-contest, everyone's always, I got to get this rebound and I got to get huge and make all these gains for the next year and whatnot. And I know that's not, that's maybe good if you're 20 something or, kind of new to the game and need to add a lot of size. I realized, hey, I'm not really adding a lot of size. I don't need to put my body through that stress. So for me, the off season is a time to detox and focus on health. So I keep my body weight down. Right after a contest, I keep my body weight within maybe 5 pounds of contest weight for the first month or two, and then maybe another couple pounds for the next month or two. On stage, I'm around 200, 202. At the very end of the off season, I hit a peak of maybe like 215 or something like that. So it's not, not much higher. And then once I start getting into pre-contest, start gearing up a little bit, my body weight shoots up. I start eating more. I actually, once I start pre-contest, like 20 weeks out or 18 weeks out or something, I'm eating more and doing less cardio than I do in the off season. In the off season, I eat pretty low calorie, no carbs on my off days. Training days are maybe 200 grams of carbs or something like that. And I do 20 minutes of cardio a day, but I'm trying to keep my body weight down.
You got to do that. People don't understand. You eat too much, you can't get rid of the muscle. The muscle just wants to increase.
Right. And then pre-contest, it's almost like I go into an off season. I mean, I'm 10 weeks out right now, and I'm still eating more food and doing less cardio at 10 weeks out than I was in the quote unquote off season. But my body composition is changing.
Absolutely. It's the irony of ironies, because initially when we first start out, we can't do enough to put muscle on, and then when we get to a certain point in our career, it's like we can't lose the muscle, which is a nice thing to go through, because it's easy to preserve muscle and you don't have to do crazy things. Now, obviously, people know you as you've really made a reputation for yourself, doing some contest prep for a lot of people. You've gotten a lot of great people in shape. You've got some pro wins under your belt with some of your clients now. The irony of the whole thing is that you and I have still continued to work together throughout, and that just goes back to show you that everyone needs a coach and a second eye to look at them. And I always enjoy working with you, because it's a very analytic process and it's a scientific process, and we both learn stuff about your body along the way.
It's better for my clients that I work with you, because otherwise I'd be driving myself nuts trying to figure all that shit out, or just constantly second guessing myself on all that. I don't have time for that. I don't want to waste the energy on that. So
do you, now that you work with so many people, once I started working with a lot of people, I didn't want to compete anymore myself. It's like almost like, I'll just live vicariously through them. Do you ever say to yourself, you know what, I had enough of the competing. I'm done with it. At this point, I just want to work with other people.
Every year I go through that. But then you get the itch back. I mean, I love the lifestyle. I like to train, and I like to diet, and I like going through the yearly changes, and everything's at a different rate now, because like we just talked, I'm older and I do things differently, and I'm not making these 8-pound muscular gains from one year to the next. I don't look at it like that, but it's still cool to see for me. And I mean, honestly, since I've been chilling out, my placings have improved. I got my first pro show, I was in the third call out. Second pro show, I was in the second call out. And then last year, my third pro show, I was in the first call out. So, I mean, something's improving. I think a lot of it is posing improvements, presentation improvements, coming in a little bit fuller, presenting my physique a little bit better, muscle maturity, maybe a little bit to a certain extent.
And the right lineup sometimes helps also,
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, you go do the Arnold Classic or whatever, and I'd be in the last call out or whatever. But choose the right show, and you might squeeze into the first call out.
Now,
but I mean, every year I'm like, when am I gonna hang up the posing trunks or whatever? But I keep on figuring out ways. Like every year I reduce my consumption. Every year I taper things back a little bit and see what I can get away with and still accomplish, a pretty decent physique or whatever.
Now, so you and I haven't discussed this at all, but I'm going to bring it up right on the air here. Now with the advent of this new classic bodybuilding division, or classic physique as they're calling it, do you ever think to yourself, hey, well, you know what, I can go down in size a little bit more and maybe I can do that, because that's, I don't have to be as big and I don't have to worry about being outmassed by guys. I have a small waist, Does that ever like the whole Darren Charles appeal,
I don't have a physique like that, and I would look out. My flaws really stand. I would have to drop 30 pounds.
You would have to lose that much? I didn't realize.
I mean, on a pro stage at my height, I have to be like 170. I think.
Oh shit! No, you'd never be able to do that. I didn't realize that.
Right. I mean, that's what I was back in 2009 when we did welterweight. Remember that?
Right. Although you probably could do it if anyone could do it, but you'd look
I could do it, but I would look terrible. Yeah, it would be unhealthy. It would actually not be healthy. It would be unhealthy. Yeah. Plus, I would look terrible.
Yeah,
I look better. I look better filled out. My flaws get hidden as I look. As I'm fuller or whatever. Absolutely. So 200 or so on stage is good for me. I'm not going to be a guy that's ever going to struggle to make 212 or whatever.
Sure.
That's not in my cards, but 200 is, I'm okay. Like I'm a smaller 212 competitor, but I can kind of hold my own or whatever. So.
Now I'm watching you do some leg extensions. You put a rubber band on the apparatus. Tell us what that's doing for you.
Well, it just adds tension at the top. I mean, a leg extension is more of a contraction movement. You're focused on the contraction, especially if you're holding it at contraction like we are on those reps. And you're a little bit more vulnerable at the bottom. The stretch position of a leg extension, it's a little bit more vulnerable on your knees. So as you're kicking up, as you're extending your quads, the tension gets higher, and then you hold that contraction there. So, I mean, we use bands here and there with a lot of different movements just for the same purpose. It's adding overload at lockout, adding overload at the contraction. It's something that powerlifters do a lot. I don't, I'm not going to say it's some magic thing that's going to transform your physique, but it's fun. It's a little bit different. It's a different stimulus. If it keeps you having fun in the gym, why not?
Sometimes you got to, people get bored in the gym very easily, and there's not much variation you can really do. I know people do some kooky stuff, but the bottom line is the basics build muscle. And so, I mean, if you could modify the basics a little bit and make them a little more entertaining or interesting. I used to I loved and I hated training with this one guy when I was coming up. His name was Doug Wentz. And the reason I hated it was because every time we went to the gym, I never knew what we were going to do, and I couldn't mentally prepare for it. So I was out of my comfort zone. But it was also great because I didn't know what we were going to do. So it was always like a new challenge every day. Like it was like he was my personal trainer almost, that I without having to pay him, so to speak. He was my training partner,
Right on. Yeah, our workouts, we never do the same workout twice in a row. It's always something new, and we're always using different equipment. And
who are you training with in this video?
I train with Bill Toko. He'll be doing Junior USAs this year. He's a real good friend of mine. He's 47, and he
Wow.
was the 1987 national skateboard champ.
Holy mackerel.
He was, I mean, he used to do, half pipe, all, crazy stuff. He lived out in Venice and trained at Venice, California Golds. Used to hang out with Phil Hill and all those guys back in the day.
Wow, that's all real old school. Well, the legs are
Yeah.
looking great, Shelby. I love getting your update pictures every week because you seem to get better every week and bigger, and that's encouraging for me. Most guys, see them getting smaller. You're improving and getting bigger and kind of growing into the show. And what are the what shows do you have planned for this year? Let the viewers know.
Probably just Chicago. I like the timing of Chicago. It's early July, and it's within driving distance because I hate flying to a show.
Right.
Just the added stress of bringing all your stuff and flying with your food and all that crap. So probably just Chicago, early July. It's the same weekend as Team Universe, and then after that, I stay busy with my other clients. It's hard for me to do a bunch of shows and stay on top of everything. So
well, best of luck, obviously on stage. I'll be rooting for you, that's for sure. And this year we got to get top 3. That was the goal we set last year. And I think you're going to accomplish it this year. Watch out for Shelby Starnes in that 212 division at the Chicago Pro. For now, we're out of time. I'm Dave Palumbo with Shelby Starnes in the Asylum.